Charlotte, North Carolina. Late April 2026, a black SUV rolls into a private hangar just off Concord Regional. No press, no team logos, no social media post. Inside that hangar, according to two separate paddock sources, sat Rick Hendrick. And the man across the table from him? A Kiwi. A three-time Supercars champion, a bloke who just 18 months ago most of America couldn't even pronounce his name. Mates, the narrative you've been fed is a lie. The mainstream NASCAR media keeps telling you Shane van Gisbergen is locked in at Trackhouse through 2027. They point to that multi-year extension he signed last August and tell you to move on. But here at NASCAR Nation Decoded, we've been digging. And what we found will change how you see the next 18 months of this sport, because Rick Hendrick, the most calculating owner in motorsport history, is not just watching SVG, he's tracking him, and the move he's planning for 2027 could blow the entire Cup Series wide open. Let's be fair, Dinkum, about where we are right now. Through the first 13 races of the 2026 Cup season, Shane sits 16th in the standings, 283 points, one win, the Chicago Street Course, where he's basically a wizard, one pole, and an average finish of around 15th. Now, on paper, that's not a disaster for a sophomore Cup driver, but you and I both know that's not the full story, because every trackside fan in the ANZAC region has been screaming the same thing at their telly since February. The car isn't matching the driver. At Bowman Gray, he qualified 17th and finished 20th in a car that just wouldn't turn. At Kansas, the place that, according to multiple insider reports, became the breaking point, the pit crew cost him track position not once, but 3 separate times. Loose lug nuts, a botched fuel-only stop, a jack that wouldn't drop, even on 3. Reporter Jeff Gluck, no friend of conspiracy theories, admitted on his post-race rundown that Shane has been really impressive, while Trackhouse as a whole gets outdeveloped by Hendrick Gibbs and 23X11. Translation, mates? SVG is dragging an underfunded equipment package on his back week after week, and somebody up the road in Concord has noticed. Here's where it gets spicy, because Rick Hendrick has a problem of his own, and SVG might just be the solution. Think about it. Kyle Larson is the crown jewel, but Larson is also splitting focus with the Indy 500 every single year. Chase Elliott is the most popular driver in the sport, but his win rate has slipped against the Toyota Armada. William Byron is championship caliber locked in, and Alex Bowman, the number 48 ride, is the most scrutinized seat in the entire garage. His contract situation beyond 2026 is, to put it politely, not bulletproof. Now here's the smoking gun. Multiple paddock sources have confirmed that Hendrick engineering staff have been pulling SVG's telemetry data from shared Chevrolet Technical Alliance servers, and not just the routine manufacturer-wide dumps. We're talking targeted analysis, cornering loads at Sonoma, brake modulation at Coda, throttle traces from Chicago. Why would the most successful team in modern NASCAR history be that interested in a driver they don't employ? 2 reasons. 1, they're studying what makes a road course alien tick. And 2, because inside Hendrick's walls, there's a growing belief that SVG is the single most talented natural racer in the entire Cup garage, not the most experienced, not the most polished on ovals yet, but the most raw. And what Rick Hendrick knows that others don't is this: oval craft can be taught. God-given car control cannot. Jeff Gordon was a sprint car kid. Kyle Larson was a dirt savage. The Hendrick pattern is clear. They bet on instinct, then they build the oval skills around it. SVG fits that mold like a glove. Now look, before we get to the climax of this story, I need to talk to you for a second. Yeah, you. The one watching this in Auckland at midnight, the one streaming it on your lunch break in Brisbane, the mate in Perth, who set the alarm for 4 a.m. just to watch Shane race at the Glen. We are the loudest, most loyal fan base Shane van Gisbergen has on this planet. And right now, the American NASCAR media doesn't take us seriously. They think we're a novelty. They think when Shane has a bad week, we'll vanish. They're wrong. This channel, NASCAR Nation Decoded, exists for one reason: to make sure the ANZAC voice gets heard inside the Cup garage. Every comment, every share, every subscriber adds another name to the movement. So please subscribe. Don't smash that bell. Join the crew, because the bigger this community gets, the harder it becomes for the suits in Charlotte to ignore what we already know, that our Kiwi Legend belongs in the best equipment in the sport. Tap the subscribe button, then meet me back here for the climax, because what's coming next is the part Rick Hendrick doesn't want you to hear. Here's the timeline that nobody in mainstream NASCAR media is putting together. Shane's Trackhouse extension is multi-year, but the language in those announcements is deliberately vague. Industry insiders peg the real end date at the conclusion of the 2027 season, with a performance-based escape clause that can be triggered earlier if specific results aren't hit. And Alex Bowman's number 48 contract expires at the end of 2026. Convenient, eh? Now here are the three scenarios our sources have laid out, and I want you to remember where you heard this first. Scenario 1, Bowman gets one more year on a reduced deal. SVG runs out 2026 at Trackhouse, then slides into the number 48 Hendrick Chevrolet for 2027. Greg Ives, Shane's current crew chief, and a Hendrick alumnus himself, comes with him. Clean handover, maximum continuity. Scenario 2, the nuclear option. Hendrick brokers a technical alliance expansion with Trackhouse, effectively turning the number 88 into a satellite Hendrick car. Same chassis prep, same engineering pipeline, same simulator hours as Larson and Byron. SVG stays in the 88, but suddenly he's got top-tier kit underneath him. Scenario 3, the curveball. And this is where it gets wild. There are whispers that 23 S1 Racing, fresh off their charter war with NASCAR, has made a quiet approach. A Toyota switch, a guaranteed number 1 seat, reported figures in the 8-figure range annually. But here's the catch, and this is what tips Rick Hendrick's hand. Shane has said publicly, repeatedly, that he's loyal to Chevrolet. He drove a Holden his entire supercars career. The bow tie is in his blood. A jump to Toyota would be a betrayal of identity, not just brand. Hendrick knows this, and he's using it. So what's the masterstroke? It's not a single move, it's a squeeze. Rick Hendrick doesn't need to sign SVG tomorrow. He just needs the rumor to exist, because every week that Trackhouse fails to give Shane a winning car, every botched pit stop, every lost track position, the gravitational pull of Hendrick Motorsports gets stronger. By the time silly season hits in July 2026, Hendrick wants the entire industry and SVG himself to view the number 48 seat as the only logical next step. That's the masterstroke, not a contract, a narrative, and it's already working. Our Kiwi Legend has the talent to win a Cup championship. The only question is whether Trackhouse gives him the tools or whether Rick Hendrick gets there first. Now I want to hear from you. The crew, 2 options. Drop them in the comments right now. Option A, Hendrick. Shane needs to take the number 48 the second it opens. Championship machinery, instant title contender. Option B, 23X1. Forget loyalty. Take the Toyota money. Be the franchise driver. Build a dynasty from scratch. Type A or B, defend your pick. The most passionate comment gets pinned at the top of this video. And if you want the next investigation, the one on what Justin Marks is really planning to keep SVG in the 88, that drops Thursday. Be here, be loud, be the crew.